I left my home to take the coin, King Henry's army for to join. A knightly fee I seek to hold.
Good evening, my lord, and how are you today? Welcome back. Today we're going to go and cover some of the more world-altering settings in Medieval Engineers. Hello builders, it's Torondor, back again for another episode of Medieval Engineers, and there's my little guy. One thing I was, yes, I'm not actually controlling him. There we go. Now I'm controlling me and not him. Wow, that's a quick camera mood. I'll tell you what. Supposedly you can change cameras. I guess that may be making them slower. But anyway, one of the things I was actually looking into trying to tell you how to do it, and that's how to change this guy's outfit. I understand being in safety yellow. I really do.
Boring.
But yeah, I mean, it's not my favorite color.
Boring.
But I figure, as far as I can tell, that is the color that you're in, at least in this creative mode. So
Get any better than this, dude?
yeah. So anyway, so we're gonna go with that for now. Oops. Let's go ahead and turn off flying mode. As I understand it, there of course is at least a blue and a red, at least in part because those are teams that you can be on. So yeah, so they've basically got red and blue teams, and obviously if you are on one of those teams, then that's what color your guy will be. So I don't have a team. I'm just me. This is all mine. No one can wrest it away from me, and we're good to go. So let's go and talk about some of the other elements of the game that are associated with the basic building blocks, things that you might need to know, things that you might find useful. First thing is the toolbar manipulation. Now, if you look down at the bottom of my screen, oh darn, I can't do that. You'll see obviously 1 through 0 across the bottom, 0 being empty-handed, which is what I am now. Now I have nothing in this toolbar. So obviously, as you saw in the first video, to populate that, you can go and double click or drag and drop the various elements into the toolbar. So let's say I want wooden walls, and I want stone blocks, and I want spiral stairs, and you know, maybe I want a wooden barrel. So you can populate your toolbar however you want. However, one of the other things that you can do, in addition to placing wooden barrels, there we go. And nifty. Let's go back to holding nothing. See, you can also, you have more than one toolbar. If you see across above the top of the large blocks labeled 1 through 0, you'll see the numbers 1 through 9. Well, if you select the period and comma keys, or the left and right greater than, less than symbols, you'll find that you can scroll through the other 9, all 9 of the toolbars. Now, as you can see, I have already populated toolbar 2 with all the different tools that the character has available right now. And number 3 is populated with the wave. And, oh wait a minute, in order to do this properly, we got to be able to see them, right? And so we have the wave, and we also have the face palm. Oh, that's one of my favorites. I can't believe you blew that up. So let's get back into our guy. So obviously, if you have certain things you like to build, you might want to pre-populate this at the start of any building scenario. You can certainly have different elements that are already in there. So that's a little different from Minecraft in that you certainly only have the one toolbar in Minecraft. So obviously this doesn't necessarily mean you can build all those unless you're in creative mode. Wow, something really banged into the corner of that. Yeah, I wonder what that was. I'll get to that in just a moment. Alright, so one of the other buttons that I did not go over last time is the J button, and that's locking things to a grid. Now, believe it or not, this entire structure, its foundation, its tower, its roof, and all of the pieces attached to it. That means anything that's attached to these. That's the torch, it's the fire basket. Notice I can run into the fire basket and I do not move it at all. I go and push on this barrel. I don't move it at all. Well, that's because when I placed them, taking the barrel, you can see how it is kind of attached to a grid. It is trying to place it onto something that is here already. Now, let's say I wanted a loose barrel, something I could, play roll out the barrel with. And oh, by the way, that includes like this, because again, there I am. I'm pushing, I'm pushing, I'm pushing. I'm not getting anywhere with that. Let's get rid of that barrel. So how do we make a free-floating barrel or a free-floating anything, something we could destroy or knock down? Well, you press the J key, and by pressing the J key, you essentially make your element able to be placed anywhere. For example, I can actually place this guy in where? All right, let's go into first-person mode. Look at this. I'm a Jedi. Use the Force, Luke. I can actually go and watch. I'm going to place this barrel in midair.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Obviously, rolls about, and I can run up to it and bam, and give it a big kick. There we go. I'm playing soccer with the barrel. So that is actually kind of key, and we'll use that later on when we start making not structures, vehicles and other such items. But for example, if I wanted to place a barrel there that I could manipulate, bam, and there it is. Now this is basically just a piece of whoops. Well, it fooled me. There we go. Yeah, this is now just a piece of flotsam and jetsam that I can kick around and do whatever the heck I want to. So, anyway, so that is something that will come in, become very important later on. Oh, wait, actually, let me go ahead and, while I still have that off, I want to, J, let's turn it off again. Because I'm going to show you, at least in part, how that works. Okay, so now as you can see, I have two barrels. One is fixed, the other is not. Stay right there. Okay. Now, one of the other elements of this, and this is actually two-part. One is long-term and one is short-term. And that's, let's say you make a great tower. As a matter of fact, let's say you're going to make a castle and you want 4 of these towers and you want them to look exactly like that. Well, you could certainly go and take the pieces and you could build this tower 4 times. It would take you longer and it would be kind of annoying. You might not get it quite right. So here's what we can do. This actually uses 2 forms of cut and paste. The first one is literally if you point the little aiming dot, my little targeting reticle there, and you hit Control and C. That copies that entire entity. Now, if you notice, let's bring this guy over here. Actually, let's set it right there. Now, if you look, now it's up a little higher and a little back a little further. But really, I'm not going to be able to jump up onto it. There we go. Now, when I copied it, only the elements that were hard fixed to... Oh, that's weird. It's missing some... oh, they might have gotten broken off. I don't know. That's a little strange. Because they are on there. They just didn't make it over to the other one. Well, anyway, but again, you notice that it did not pick up both barrels. It only picked up the fixed barrel, not the loose barrel. So keep that in mind when you are copying and pasting things around. Now, because I hit copy on it once, I can now also hit Control V and paste it yet again. Again, it's the same thing. I can change the orientation of it. I can rotate it. So you can certainly go and have them be different orientations with all the doors facing the right way or all the arrow slits facing the right way. But you'll see they are literally duplicates. Now this is fine when you are using the copy and paste within a specific world. But let's say you make a really complex machine or a really great tower or just a really great house. You want a standard peasant's hut. Well, the other thing that you can do is you can create what they call blueprints. Now, if you go into Control B, opens up the blueprint screen. Now, what you can do is, as you can see, these are different blueprints that are already created. But as you can see right there, based on the thumbnail sketch or the thumbnail picture, that is what I have created. So I'm going to now it's obviously already in there, and I can take screenshots. I can create from clipboard and get to details. I can rename it. We'll call this YouTube Tower. No exclamation point. Ta-da! So there it is. That is YouTube Tower. And in addition to creating these for use later, because these will stay with you regardless of what world you're in. So if you decide to destroy this world and delete it and build a new one, but you really like that tower, as long as you created a blueprint of it, it'll be there. In addition, you can actually go and cannot find the blueprint file. Details. Oh, there we go. You can actually publish your number of blocks 58, Castle Siege points 64. Interesting. You can actually publish blueprints to the website. I believe it's actually on Valve. I'm not entirely sure. I apologize for not having looked that up ahead of time. But you basically have the opportunity to share your elements that you create with others, and you can also go online and find others that have created theirs. That is using blueprints, and that's using copy and paste. We've talked about toolbar manipulation. One of the other things that I have talked about that I actually like about this is called structural integrity. Now, if we press the N key, all of the structural integrity of the different cubes comes to life. So as you can see, most of these guys are green. There are a couple of them over here that are yellow. I believe that the gray, I'm not entirely certain what the colors mean. I believe the gray means that they are not in danger of any kind of collapse or falling over. Essentially, these guys are fully supported, whereas these guys, because they're green, means they're not going to fall down and go boom. At least not at the moment. But that's one aspect of it. That's showing you what the structural integrity is. There is also, and this is something that you set. Okay, we're back. Sorry. One of the things is it's all the way out at the beginning. You have to load it in before you load the world. So there you go. There's a guy that's in red, and he's obviously on the red team, and he's flinging things against a blue castle. So But one of the things you'll do is what you'll find when you load a world or when you start a new world, there's my world. But one of the things, one of the toggles, one of the tabs it has is edit settings. And that's where you can change the description. You can change from survival and creative. You can decide whether or not to post it online, etc., whether it's going to autosave, the number of bots, the maximum fracture pieces, the duration of the day in minutes, how much of it is going to be day versus night. But the other one up here, oh, and then there's also barbarians too, which we'll get to in another episode, is structural integrity, and that is where buildings will fall under its own weight and damaged buildings can collapse. So this is where it's more, the physics come in, and it's more like real life. If you are if you are new to this, you probably want to turn that off. Unless you're like me and you just like that hardcore aspect of, oops, it fall down and went boom. But like I said, it can fall down and go boom, so you got to be careful when you're deleting things, or else your whole giant tower that is all beautiful and wonderful can just collapse on you. That's why I highly recommend that the autosave be left on. So anyway, I'm going to leave this turned on when I load this, and I'll be right back. Let's try that again there. Alright, here's our guy. Now, I'm going to try that again, because I don't know for sure whether or not it went or not. But we're going to go and see just what happens when the structural integrity of an item goes and is tested. So here is one way to do a stack of items. Now obviously you can place them one at a time, block upon block, or you can, come on, let's get up a little higher. If you hold control and place a first block, and then as you go up, it will add blocks on top. And see how it's counting up? That's the number of blocks I'm up to. So let's take it up to 25. And then let go. Well, now, all of a sudden, now that whole pillar is trying to support its own weight. And look what happens. Timber! Hey, did any of y'all see the, what was it, The Hobbit? Battle of Five Armies, when Legolas is fighting that whoops. Yeah, it's trying to explode that whole thing. Okay. It can be very intensive, folks. Remember that. Whoa. Okay. Hey, I bounced. So, yeah, this can be very intensive in terms of the graphics. So just keep that in mind. That, yeah, you don't want your tower to collapse and turn into a bunch of rubble. Yes, this is rubble. Yeah, it's kind of like styrofoam rubble, because obviously I can kick around all these metric tons of rock. But anyway, all right, so let's say, you know, obviously you do not want this to happen. You do not want to lose the structural integrity of your stuff. This is no longer a structure. These are no longer blocks. This is just rubble. Now, one of the things you can do if you have too much rubble, you obviously don't want it to have to render all these free-floating pieces, so you can press K. That's the gameplay options window. And obviously, you know, you can toggle the structural integrity view there, change the day-night cycle, set the sun settings to something maybe a little bit more desert-like. Wow, that's some intense sunlight, man. Or maybe a weak winter sun. You can certainly change a lot of these to manipulate it so that it's a little closer to where your actual place is. You can actually have a fog. That's a funky looking fog, man. A poisonous fog. Oh, it's just a dark fog. A blood red fog. Yeah, you can have all sorts of things. Yep, pink fog. There we go. Now that's more like fog. Of different densities, different multipliers. So you can certainly, you know, play with that quite a bit. But I'm here to show you the Remove Fractures button. Now, this enables you to remove all the loose items, if you will, the loose pieces that are in your game. Now, you can either do it in a radius of a certain area. See there, in an 8-meter radius, I removed all those. Really? Yeah, okay, there we go. Because you can see I still have some there, and I still have the ones down there. Or I can hit all, and voila, they are all gone. Now, it will not remove, broken pieces that are still attached, nor, because that technically has, if you look at N, that has structural integrity to it. That is still a piece that you could technically build on, as far as I know. I don't think I would want to, but you could. It also does not count things like these barrels that we have created as rubble. Okay, it just gets rid of rubble. So keep that in mind when you are setting the rubble setting or the pieces setting. Come on, get up. All right, so he's not a parkour guy. Seriously, I thought I got up there the first time. I guess not. Anyway, all right, so we're not going to try and do that. So that is structural integrity for you. That will also enable you to do things like this. And wait a minute. Bombs away. Oh, it won't let me do it. Why won't it let me do it? Here we go. Oh, I know why. Because I don't have J turned on. Alright, now it's a giant missile. There we go. Crash. And it's in a bazillion pieces. And I'm just going to have it get rid of all these things as we go so that I don't have such a horrible problem with the stuff. Alright. So, yeah. You can pretty much go and do just about anything with this. And I destroyed part of our tower. I'm evil. What can I say? I do the facepalm animation, but that's okay. Alright, so yeah, that's it for our episode. These are just some of the major elements. Things you want to keep in mind when you are set. Can we go down? Thank you very much. Things that we need to keep in mind when we're actually going and talking about working on these. Wow, I am way over there, but my camera is way over there. Hello. So, don't forget, if you don't want to have to worry about structural integrity, make sure you turn it off before you load the game. It does not, unlike survival and creative, it doesn't look like you have to set it ahead of time. You can change it back and forth. Actually, you can set creative and survival, I think, back and forth as well. Right now, remember, this is alpha, so it's, yeah, I know, I can't talk tonight either. But if you have any questions, I will be getting a little deeper into the meat of things. Next episode is going to be putting the cart before the horse. We're going to go ahead and build us a free-floating vehicle that we can then use in later episodes. So, hope you enjoyed it. I've been enjoying learning how to play this game, and as we continue on, once I go over some of the basics, we will actually go and get into some fun building and start getting into some more serious stuff, some actual buildings. Yeah. So thanks for watching, and I will see you later, my lord. Have a fair day, and may your horses, well, bear you to wherever you're going. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, boys.
Have fun storming the castle.
Think it'll work?
It would take a miracle.
Bye-bye.